You're listening to Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the stream on Wednesday night. My name's Paul Abernathy. Those that know me, howdy, howdy. Thank you for joining me. Or those over on our Facebook page, we're also streaming there as well. So thank you for joining me tonight. And what we're doing tonight is we're going to give a look at the 2020 edition of the Fast Trax program and answer any questions that you might have on the Fast Trax program. Anybody that might be in the program, feel free to chime in if you had a chance to be a part of it. I know many of you have utilized it and have gone on to pass your exams. I think one of the things that I always focus on is that it's not just for exam prep. It's actually just a concept of being able to learn the National Electrical Code just a little bit better through a structured program. It's not for everybody. Some people don't like structure, and it's a lot of reading material. So again, can't appeal to everybody, but opposed to other options that you may have, which might be just reading a book or watching videos. At least this kind of program interacts with you a little bit and allows you to interact with me by me grading your competency reviews, and I get to see all of the stuff that you do inside of the program so that, I can see where you're at. And of course, I'll give feedback, comments, as Jay and Tim, I see you in the room. Thanks for coming. As they will tell you, I am very generous with my grading system. I had to laugh with that, but I just want to say that we do our best to try to. I was gonna say grade on the curve, but I know that Jay and Tim both would not let me say that. So again, it's critical that we answer questions and understand preparing for code. Hopefully, you all got to listen to my podcast that I did that had to do with removing stress during an exam. And some of you that have been in exams might even acknowledge it and say, you know what, home run, because that's exactly what happens to people. They literally get in an exam environment and totally stress out. Now, I tell people all the time, this book right here, of course it's adorned with all of my stickers, is not the easiest book to understand. And many people have gotten quite a bit confused in this document and what it actually presents. And you really need to understand the structure of this document. And I tell people all the time, and a great example of this was today. Jay had a great question about GFCI, and it's important to understand that chapters 1 through 4 apply broadly throughout the entire NEC, and then 5, 6, and 7 can supplement or modify. So you might have rules in 680, for example, but you can't forget the general rules that are in chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we always have to remember the general rules. So something later on in the code might change something, okay? Might adjust something, might modify something, but we can't forget the general rules. Another great example of this is, I don't know which ones are in my membership program, but you'll notice that we're doing a series on swimming pools. I kind of took a break from the analysis of the NEC because I had the opportunity to have a special guest with me so that I could produce some training for 680 as I serve on code making panel 17. So I wanted to do that training and make it available to our members. And so I kind of took a break from this, but I've got some videos in the can. We're going to be catching back up with the 2020 NEC. So out there who's into it, don't worry. We're going to catch you up. But the point being is that it was a great opportunity to do Article 680 because it's a good example of where you can jump around in the code and making references and stuff. So if you can understand 680, then you can understand the flow of the NEC. That's for sure. In the room tonight, Elwood, thanks for coming. Mike, Robbie, and of course, Tim and Jay, thank you for being here as well. And over on our Facebook stream, Amos, thank you, Amos, jumping in with us. So we're going to look at the fast tracks, and I guess I'm in the way of the chat thing. Move a little bit this way tonight. I see you in here. Thanks for coming. So many of you might already be familiar with the Fast Tracks program. Let me give you a little bit of a history on this. The Fast Tracks program, what's up, Toast? The Fast Tracks program was a program that's actually based on a book that's produced by Charles Miller. And this is the illustrated guide to the NEC. So what we did was, I don't have any part in that book, okay? The other books in our program, the residential, the commercial, the grounding and bonding, I had a hand in the authoring those books. That we have those in our other programs. And some of you that might have taken advantage of the Ultimate 2020 package, I had a hand in those. I did not in this one. And so the basic concepts of the illustrated guide is to walk us through the different important aspects of the code. And of course, I supplement this with some video material, but the concept was at least to get you to read it. And it requires you to maneuver through the NEC. Now, what I did was I took a book concept and we partnered with Cengage to create this video, which is, again, it's online, and it's our own course that utilizes their material. But what we do is we change the concept and show you that you use anytime you see little hashes, that you got to look up the code material. The competency reviews are really important because they gauge where you're at, and it helps me gauge where you're at. Okay. Hey, WWE, thanks for coming. Jay likes the 680 series so far, so that's good. He likes when me and Vince have our little side discussions. I can tell you, Vince is an awesome guy. He got to spend 4 days with me, and I don't see him as often. So I used to go down and do some training down in Florida. I don't do so much in Florida anymore. The company I work for doesn't support IAI anymore, so I can't really get around. I mean, obviously I do, but I can't. They don't let me get around as much. And of course, with COVID, we haven't been able to get anywhere anyway, right? So, other shout outs: Joel, thanks for coming. Daniel, thanks for coming. Michael, thanks for coming. So at the end of the day, it was a nice 4 days that I got to spend with Vince, and we did an Electrician live episode and as well on some Siemens products. It was just a really great couple of days. He's a great guy. So I enjoyed it was a Siemens presentation. So even with the swimming pools, I let them kind of lead that. And then I kind of just chimed in and kind of kept it going, moderated it, and, that type of thing. But it was really good. And we've got, 2 parts up right now. One is for free view. You can watch it. That's the general. And then part 2, which is the permanently installed pools. And then, of course, next week we'll release part 3, and then the week after part 4. And then in there, I will start to spatter in again. I will get back to my 2020 analysis. Apologize for that brief delay from that, but you members who subscribe to that over there and help support us, I know you appreciate it. So we'll get back to this, I promise. Okay, so tonight's episode, we were going to, hey RG, thanks for coming. We wanted to talk about the Fast Tracks program. I was giving you kind of an idea. So the reason we came up with the Fast Tracks program and tried to offer the interaction is because the concept of what's there and being able to put in videos and things like that, we did something a little different in the 2020 edition. We moved them to an Appendices rather than interject them at different areas of the Fast Tracks program. I like to tell people all the time that the Fast Tracks program is always a work in progress. Means I'm always adding things to the program. So you might not know when I add something, but you just need to make sure you check all the folders when you're in there, because sometimes I add stuff and sometimes I will send out a notice, but most of the time I'm just constantly just adding little things in there as well. So, and so the whole concept of the program is not just to make you memorize something. There are programs out there that you go and you study this book for a Saturday and a Sunday, and you do what's called a crash course, and then they tab it all over the place, and then you go do your exam, and you're sitting there, and they have no idea what's going to be on the exam, and you have all these tabs, and you just totally get lost, and you get brain overload, and you try to memorize things in a short amount of time. And if you don't go take the test shortly after your cram session, then you slowly start to lose the information, and it starts to be like Jell-O. Everything starts melding together, and you don't remember anything, right? And that's the problem with crash courses. So as I talk about relieving stress, you really need to put together a 60 or 90-day program. And I talk about that in the podcast. Hopefully you go listen to the podcast on reducing stress during an exam, because it really does kind of explain the thought process is trying to study with a purpose and with intent. Absolutely, Joel. I don't know how many people that literally go in, waste their time trying to study for an exam, and they don't know what they're studying. So it's just a random, and it's lost time. You're not going to get it back, right? You're not going to get this time back. So you might as well focus on something structured, and that's all this program does. Are there other ways to do it? Are there other books out there from other people? Absolutely. And I am all about you succeeding. So whatever you use, perfectly fine. All right. I just do it with the programs that I have, because I have control on how they're graded, how they're reviewed, and those type of things. So, but there's other ways to do it. The other thing is really having good test questions. And it really doesn't matter whether or not you're testing for the 2020 or the 2017 or even the 2014. It doesn't matter if your code questions are a little outdated. In other words, if I'm using a 14 code question and I'm in a 2020 code, that's fine, because the real focus there is getting you into the code book and maneuvering and looking for it. The chances are the majority of the code questions that you'd have on some kind of code database are not going to be much different, because when we're doing exams and we're writing exams, we're not just looking to write these exams on code changes. We're not. In fact, probably very few are going to have anything to do with code changes. They're going to be pretty much the same content they had from previous cycle. All we do is get together and make sure that nothing has been removed or a question is obsolete anymore. Or if a question has fundamentally changed because of a change in the code, then we have to make a change. But I think a misconception is when we go from a code cycle in your state, that we go from a 17 to the 2020 code, that the questions and everything's going to fundamentally change. No. What we'll do is typically we'll look at the questions that are in the database. If we're sitting together and we're doing a review of an exam, we'll look at it and we'll look at a question and we'll determine whether or not the question is still relevant or not. If it's still relevant, it stays, that type of thing. So, Tony, Minnesota, you have my condolences. So, hey, Brian. I see Brian came in too. Missed you the other day, Brian. I saw you into the web stream, and then you disappeared from the web stream. I think that it was recorded, and I'll get you a link if you still want to watch the grounding and grounding electroconductor bonding webinar. But I noticed you came in and then you bolted out, so we all missed you on that. So, what's up, Mandingo? Thanks for coming. All right, so anyway, we're going to kind of look at the 2020. For those that are in the 2017, you're not going to see a massive difference. I will tell you, the database of questions, in the 2020 are the same databases in 2017. So a little disappointed is that they haven't updated the database, but I'm working on that. But don't let that distract you. They're at the end of your work process. The book itself is based on the 2020. The work is based on 2020. Calculations are based on 2020. But the mega folder of exam type questions are still based on 2017. Don't let that deter you. I've been over quite a few of them, and they all pretty much can still be answered from the 2020 anyway. So not a big deal, okay? When that gets updated, or if it gets updated, it will be done naturally. Remember, these are just code questions so that you can look things up and get to maneuvering your code book. When it comes to the competency reviews and things like that, again, they're going to be pretty much the same as 2017. The only difference is any that have been updated for 2020. Now, anybody who's in the 2017 Fast Trax program, there is no need for you to be involved in to even do the 2020. Okay, so again, because it's very similar, we just moved some things around a little bit for the 2020 edition. Other than that, didn't really change. Let's see here. Who else we got coming in? William, thanks for coming. Michael. Let's see here. What is Michael? What did Michael say? Oh, I made some flashcards on heavy hitters article. Well, there you go. Did you make them flashcards physically, or did you make them in the Fast Trax program? Because you can make your own cards in the Fast Trax program. Printed them out. Okay. So anyway, not sure what I was at. So let's kind of look at it so that, there are some individuals who signed up for, and I don't know if that individual is here. If they are, say now, forever hold your peace, that requested a demo. So I'm kind of going to give a demo. Again, for you that are familiar with this, nothing really changes in it. That type of thing. So if I'm giving a demo and you guys have some code questions, you can sit there and work on typing out your question and post it, and I'll try to answer it tonight. And those that aren't familiar with the Fast Trax program, I'll show you what the Fast Trax program looks like. So kind of go over to it. So, oops, y'all don't want to see my kitty screens. All right. So did I say that? That's my music, background music. Okay. All right. So this is probably very familiar with those that are already in the program, familiar with it. One thing you'll notice that there is an Appendices folder now, right here. And of course, you've got the exam questions down here, which again have not been updated for the 2020. We're working on that. But as of right now, I don't believe they've been updated. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me on that. Again, it's not going to really affect you when you're doing it and preparing, because we're all about maneuvering. I always like when they do update those things. So we'll kind of look at the program a little bit here. Your screen looks slightly different than mine, obviously being the authoring tool. But the biggest difference is the appendices. So rather than put the videos inside of each one of these, I'll open it up. See, so you've got units. You've got study tools, you got the flashcards, everything is there. You see it's a little different than what you're used to. You also notice that we do dump in some Unit 2 videos, okay, in here as well. And then there's even more unit drills. So what has changed from the 2017 to the 2020 is more quiz questions. So typically you have a competency review and then you had one quiz, 5 to 8 question quiz. Well, we wanted more quizzes, so now you have more quizzes, and what it's designed to do is you do the end of unit quiz, then you do the competency, and just when you think life is getting good, you did decent on the competency, you end up having to take a quiz again, and that's how every unit is designed to do that. Okay, so as example would be, if you're doing Unit 3, you've got your reading material, you've got your review, that's your competency. You have your assessment, okay, which is at the end. And then in your study, you got your general information. And then you've got your see here, box fill, and then all these extra videos that have been added in here. But you've got your reviews, everything all up in here to the questions, okay? But we've embedded the videos here. Now, that's pretty consistent throughout the program now. But down in the appendices, you'll see that we have a bunch of other videos now. Understanding the code. And not all of these are by me. Some of these are. Not all of them are. And so three-way, single, they're just so GFCI. There's just a lot of videos now. Voltage drop. Although I say my voltage drop is probably the best one. Here's table 250.122 basics. And so there's just some additional good videos here. Healthcare facility MC. I'll click that, for example. And oh, check it out. That's a video I did for Encore Wire on healthcare facility MC. All right. So just a bunch of, here's one on sizing, and here's one on sizing conductors. Okay. Just sizing AC and heat. Sizing AC or heat in the largest motor. And here's voltage drop. Here's video on voltage drop. Wiring a panel. There you go. There's a 9-minute duration on wiring a panel. So it's just some good extra ancillary information that's being thrown in. But your core video stuff is still going to be, as you can see here, there's your flash. And there's another video right here for voltage drop. Okay. So, and I will be adding constantly additional items into this repository. Okay. So I'll always be dumping things in. I'm never happy that I'm always want to dump something in to that type of thing. So anyway, let's see what else we got. Oscar, thanks for coming. Joe, hi. We got Joe in here. Now, Joe is in our CMECP program. Okay, and he dates all the way back to the 1,000 mics. Of course, it's 10,000 mics. Joe, it seems like that long, 10,000 mics ago, but it used to be called 1,000 mics. And oh my God, that was way back many years ago when I used to do those shows. I was probably, and Joe probably agree, I was probably one of the first actually doing online videos, online streaming, at least podcasts. And way back in the day before podcasts became vogue, right? The thing to do. That was back many years ago. So, long time. But Joe's in our CMECP program, which is things that everybody aspires to get to the top of their craft. And so that's just something that's the next level thing. And it takes a lot of dedication. In fact, Joe had to get a little email from me kind of prodding him along saying, come on, get in the program. Come on. You got a lot of stuff to go, little time, like Willy Wonka, so much to see in little time, so little to see, so much time, whatever that is. So yeah, it's just taking the knowledge to the next level. The other thing is the grading scale on the CMECP program is so high. They're easy until you get up to about unit 8 or 9, and then all of a sudden, and then they're required to pass all of the exams at the bottom, the exams and the final exams. They have to do them all. So it's a little different than what some. Now, the 17 program is even different than the 2020 CMECP program. Interesting, Joe, you have like 10 exams to do at the bottom of yours. The 2020 guys have 20 exams now. So the ones that are in the 2020 version of that program, that all CMECP, they're all the same, but we made changes, okay, to some of the things. So anyway, let's get back to this here. I'm always changing stuff. So those that are new to the program or not familiar with it, we cover every aspect of the general requirements, specific requirements. Again, this is one family dwelling. The load calcs, it has, the other difference is, here's your review, right? In selective units, not all, but selective units, we're not only giving you the review and assessment, but see here where it says NEC drill work, it's even more. So I'll click it to show you what this is, because this is new that you're not familiar with this if you're doing the 2017 edition. is you can start the assessment, and this is just another set of questions that you're supposed to finish up at the end before you move on to the next unit. Okay, it's just confirming that you really read the unit and understood it. Believe it or not, I can tell, and you answer it and move on. So it's just another assessment that we make, and there's some videos, planning for lighting, working rooms, circuitry, all this kind of stuff. Extra stuff that's in here that you might not be familiar with in the 2017 program, but these are just some new things that have been added for the 2020 edition. And then we just put a lot of videos down here in this separate folder. What was I going to say? I had a chain of thought on my mind about something. Not sure. I mean, let's go catch up some questions. Then I'm going to show you the navigation on the right, because I have new people that want to learn how the navigation is. Let's see here. What else do we got? Let me catch up. Elwood, thank you. Robbie, what he's got? How much is the program? Once I buy, do I get to keep the contents, or does it only last for a certain amount of time? It is a 1-year program, 365 days. You can print out everything you want, every page you want. You can print the whole thing out if you want it. But this program is designed to teach you the code in a specific amount of time, and it's really based on a 60 or 90-day program. Because we're trying to focus on getting you to an exam. Now, if you're using it just for code knowledge, the whole concept of the program is to teach you to understand this a little bit better. So after about a year, you're probably not going to come back to this program, because you're using it to understand this better. Then this becomes your working document. But you get access to it for a year. Now, the ones that are getting into the bundle, that's the 2020 program, you actually get it for 24 months. So I think Jay took opportunity of that because he wanted to get the residential, the commercial, the industrial, the grounding and bonding, and all that type of thing. So he got that program, but that's a 24 months. So we were able to extend that for 24. All the regular programs are just for 1 year. But usually 1 year is enough based on me monitoring people's activity. We've had these programs for over a year now, and I have students that once they pass their exam, they're not coming back to do more work. So I don't know that you need it more than a year. I understand the tangibleness to it. I buy something, I want it, but it's almost like a subscription program. We're going to give you access to a year. You can print every page of this book you want, every form you want, whatever you want, but it's only good for a year. Unless you go with the bundle, and the bundle is a 2-year program. All the 2020 programs are just 1 year as well, unless you have the bundle. And interesting enough with that bundle, it also gives you access to over 10,000 other documents that Cengage has to offer. So it's not just about our courses. And I don't know if you knew that or not, Jay, but you have access to every book that they put out, right? If you ever want it. So, in case you didn't know that. So the biggest thing about this program now, the Fast Trax program, for those that aren't familiar with it, is when you're doing, and this is what I get a lot from people doing the exam, competency review quizzes are not easy. And I have some students that are really, really struggling right now. I want to show you something. So this is your competency review. And just so folks know, this is where you fill in the code section, article, whatever, and here's where you put in your answer. Don't leave these, it doesn't do you any good or me any good to leave these blank. You're not under any timer. You take your time. You really don't want to submit anything until you answer every question, right? So in this, you can answer all your questions on here, and then you click submit, and then we will grade them. And I usually do the grading scale is 2 times a week. Sometimes I'm on it every night, but sometimes it's 2 times a week that we do grade turnarounds. But once you submit it, we will grade it, and I will give you feedback. And if you get below 60%, I am not giving you the answers, folks. If you get below 60%, I want you to do the unit over again, because there's something in it that you did not grasp, right? You did not comprehend it. Or you didn't go watch listen to my podcast on exam stress. You need to create an environment where no distractions. Obviously, my dog barking is not the greatest distraction here, non-distraction area. But the reality is you need to be able to have that space that's yours so that you can study, and to be able to do that and effectively be able to focus on the material. Because if you can't, you won't absorb it. If you don't absorb it, then it's going to show in your competency reviews. Now, one of the things that somebody said to me, it says, why would I want to use the textbook? Hold on for a second. Why would I want to use the textbook while I'm doing competency reviews? And the answer to that is because you're doing competency reviews. And the competency reviews are based on the reading material, right? What you've already done. So I do think that you should use, at this stage, the actual code. The actual textbook that you're working from. So, for example, Unit 7, and I want to find the maximum distance, although this is kind of funny because this one gets a lot of people. The maximum distance between kitchen countertop receptacle is blank feet. Okay? Gets a lot of people. A lot of people will put 2 feet. Right? And we're talking about maximum distance between the receptacles on a countertop. The code says that it has to be a receptacle so that any point along the wall line on the counter is within 2 feet of a receptacle. So you have to use a little logic here. If I put 2 receptacles 4 feet apart, if I go right to the center, ain't I within 2 feet of this receptacle? Ain't I within 2 feet of this receptacle? So the distance between the countertop receptacles would be 4 feet. And again, people are so used to seeing where it says 2 feet from a receptacle, but you have to read the question. And that's done that way for a reason. So I get a lot of people that ask those questions about, is this a trick question? It is not. It is literally saying, what's the maximum distance between your receptacles? Has nothing to do with that it has to be at any point along the wall line on a counter within 2 feet. But anyway, I digress. So here it'd be Unit 7. You go over here to the textbook. Right here. Click the book. You'll notice that the competency test stays here. You didn't lose anything. So I'm going to go to the table of contents and I'm going to go to Unit 7. That's what I'm dealing with, 7. So I'm going to go to Unit 7. And then you'll notice that here it goes down. Kitchen countertop receptacles. Kind of what the question, kitchen counter, what it's asking about. Okay? So you look at it and it'll go through all of the information about the countertop receptacles and everything, and you just kind of go through the material. Okay? And the other key concept here is you can go back and forth, countertop receptacles, kitchen counter, the placement, all of these type of rules are all in here. Here it says the maximum distance to any receptacle along the wall line measured 24 inches, right? Horizontally, 24 inches. So that means at any point on that wall line, I have to be within 24 inches of a receptacle. So if the receptacles are spaced 4 feet apart, I'm in the middle. I'm within 24 of that one, and I'm within 24 of that one. So it's just one of those questions you have to think about, okay? This is the maximum distance to any receptacle. This is the maximum distance between kitchen countertop receptacles. You with me? So at the end of the day, that's the kind of questions, and you can get there. And here's a good illustration on the right, if you can see it. See here, 4 feet, so that right here, I'm within 2 feet of this one, and I'm within 2 feet of this one. Now, you are required to be within 2 feet of the edge, because if I were to be here, I got to be within 2 feet of a receptacle. If I'm at the edge here, I got to be within 2 feet of a receptacle. So this kind of takes care of itself. But this is the dimension here that we're testing you on. Okay? And so right here at this point, I am within 2 feet of this one, and I'm within 2 feet of this one. So not a trick question. It's just something you have to read it. Can't just take it for granted. Right? Okay. So, anyway, this is the program. And again, you can get the book. But the problem is it doesn't interact with you, and you don't get anybody to walk you through it and be there to answer questions for you, as you're going to have questions as you go through a program. And the question is, people are getting 40s and 50s and 60s on some of these competency reviews. Tells me you didn't read the material, or you didn't take it in the material, or you didn't open yourself up to understanding the material, because you should be generating questions, and then you can ask me questions and I'll be able to explain any of the content to you. The other interesting thing about the program I should mention for those that are new to the program or are in it, is that in the reading material, which you can print any of this you want, starts out with your first part here. And anytime that you see these chevrons, you're going to look this up in the code and read it. That's the purpose of them, is to now, this wasn't necessarily the purpose from the author. This is what I've done to train people and understand how you're going to be able to really learn the code, is that anywhere that these chevrons are there are making a reference to the code, I want you to go out of the textbook and into the NEC and look this information up. Okay. Now, when everybody gets that question wrong on the exam about the 24 or the 4 foot or whatever for receptacle, you'll notice that it is right here in the code. The material that's on that competency review is right here in the reading material. Here's an example. Right here. 4 feet. Max. So it's all there. And so I tell people all the time when they do the exams, and if their scores are low, I'm saying, use the textbook while you're doing your review. It's just going to make it so much easier. But what you need to do, when I say a study plan, when you buy a book, nobody helps you. Or you watch DVDs, you don't get anybody giving you guidance on how to actually study with a plan. Okay? And so in this case, I'm telling you, you read the material and then you look up the references. Okay? You can highlight them. Here's another interesting thing. Maybe you're just really tired and you have trouble comprehending. Left click and highlight it, and then it'll pop up this. Then you click read the text.
Receptacle placement in a kitchen is determined by 210.52, parenthesis, A, in parenthesis, and, parenthesis, C, in parenthesis, all of the general receptacle placement provisions found in 210.52, parenthesis, A, in parenthesis.
So, you read it, you follow it along, and you comprehend it better. But if you don't follow this process, then you're going to have trouble. Okay? So there's a reason that this is this way. And you can use the reading function if you want. You don't have to. You can just read it. Even me, when I'm reviewing these books and making recommendations to the author for changes, I use this feature.
Receptacle outlets are only required to be installed behind a range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink if the area behind the range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink is 12 in parenthesis.
Now, you can change the speed, the cadence, the voice. You can change all of that. If you don't like her voice and maybe it's not flowing well enough for you, that's okay. You can simply change it. So, for example, I can go down here and I can choose, let's do male Australian. And we'll just keep it the medium, and I'll do it. And let's just do this.
Receptacle outlets are only required to be installed behind a range, counter-mounted cooking unit, or sink if the area behind the range, counter-mounted cooking unit. Now, while he's reading it, I'm hearing it. I'm also reading it every time the words are highlighted. In my mind, I'm reading it. So I'm reading along with them because it's just something about it that helps you learn. Now, if you think you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's up to you. But I'm 50-some-year-old man, and sometimes comprehension can always be a problem, especially if you're tired. So this is a concept of where it helps you stay engaged in it. Whether you utilize it or not, it's there for you. Now, let's assume you have a question in your program, okay?
I get this a lot. People have questions. I want you to bring your questions that you have for me during the program. If there's something you don't understand, I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to highlight it by, maybe I'll pick this magenta color and I'm going to highlight it. Over here in your unit, you've got the study hub. You can come over here to the highlighted and see what I just highlighted right here. This is what I just highlighted. Now I can take this, right click it, copy it, and now paste it in an email and send it to me. If you say, Paul, can you explain this in a little better detail? I don't know anywhere that you get something like that. Now, whether you utilize it or not, I'm here for you. And that's what you're really paying for. But you do get the book. You print whatever you want. There's a lot of charts in here that you have to fill out. Here's another big mistake that people make. I'm going to show you something really quick. Big mistake that people make is under load calculations, the reading material. I'm going to show you something real quick. This walks you through every step, okay, of what appliances are so that you get a better understanding. But then you've got these forms. You need to right click on these and save the image and then print it out. Or you can click on it and go to a bigger version of it and then right click and you can save the image as a bigger version. Okay. Or you can do this and just click print and it'll print it out for you. This is what you want to use when you're doing the competencies. Fill in these. Now, I had somebody tell me, I don't want to use these forms because I'm not going to be able to use these forms on an exam. You're totally missing the concept because you're not doing it because of the exam. You're doing it to perfect your process so that you learn what the steps are. I mean, remember, we're learning. Now, sometimes the biggest problem that I see is some of the problems I see with people is that they're so set in their ways. They've been doing something for so many years that when they go back and they have to pass an exam, they're set in their ways and they don't open their mind. And they think, well, I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that. If you knew it, you wouldn't be buying a program to study for your exam. I'm just saying, relax, lighten up, read the material. It can only make you better. It can only make you better. And anyway, so these are all printable, and there are some for standard. There's one for optional. There's one for neutrals. There's one for multifamily. Print them all out. In fact, my advice to electricians and owners like Jay and Tim, I would print these things out. I would laminate them, and I would use dry erase markers on them, like the dry erase board. Laminate them and peep them in your code book so that you can, from time to time, use them in the real world, right? I mean, I tell people all the time, take them and put them in a lamination, laminate these sheets so that you can use a dry erase pen, and these can be used over and over and over again, and you can wipe them off. That way, if you got to do a calculation for something real quickly, you could just grab one of these out of your code book or maybe on your work desk, and you can just do some quick maths, some things like that. Hey, ain't no shame in using this. We're all here. Once you get that license, you can do whatever you want. And I encourage people to use these forms even after they get their license. But the reason you're using these for exam prep is so that you learn the steps and the step process, right? That's why we're doing it. Hey, James, I'm sorry I didn't catch you over there. I didn't see you over there. Thanks for coming in. James from over on our Facebook stream. I forgot I'm streaming to both tonight. So anyway, there you go. So again, people can, I've got my share of haters out there, but at the end of the day, the whole concept is, look, there ain't nobody else out there trying to help you pass. They're just trying to take the money for their books. Okay? I am here to answer questions for you. I answer every email that somebody might have. Okay? I try to answer everything. If it slips through the cracks, I get hundreds of emails a week. That type of scenario. So, again, interesting you should say that, Robbie. some of our residential and commercial does have troubleshooting, HVAC troubleshooting for the electrical part. You're not going to get that in Fast Trax because that's not what Fast Trax is all about. Fast Trax has nothing to do with troubleshooting. It's learning the exam, but there is kind of some troubleshooting programs in our residential application that you work with and you learn, definitely. Okay? So anyway, this is the forms and what they look like, and you can print them, and as you go through this, it's going to give you an example of a calculation. This right here. Okay? You should be working through this using the forms. So by the time that you get to the competency, and again, my students, I tell you over and over again, by the time you get to the competency, it should be a piece of cake because there's way more things in this example here than it is on the competency questions. Okay? A lot, man. It's essentially the exact same information. It's just there's a lot more of it right here than even on your competency. So if you use those sheets and you walk through this program and see what it's going to do, it's going to show you how to fill out each box at a time. So I know when somebody is truly focused on the work, okay? And now what we've done is put links to other areas in here that show blueprints, for example, like this right here. So again, there's other links that are jumped to other things. If it's talking about floor layout, you can click that and gives you some information on that. And here's an example of a floor layout. It shows you all the code references that are germane. That's pretty neat. So that's all in the book, by the way. So this is what it does. It literally walks you through how to fill out each one of those spaces on that. Now, like I said, I've had somebody say, well, I don't want to do that because that's not how it's going to be on the exam. Then you miss the point. And it's frustrating because I don't want to pull out my hair because I don't have much. But the reality is, just follow the plan and I can promise you success. There's no way you can't go through this material and really go through it and not be successful and pass your exam. There's no way because we cover everything that you could possibly have on an exam. And so just give it an opportunity to work. And again, whether you use mine or use somebody else's or whatever you do, just give a program time to work. But if you're just randomly going in your code book and say, tonight I'm going to read this. Oh, and then tomorrow night I'm going to read this. Or I'm going to start highlighting all this kind of stuff in my book. Your chances of success are very low. You might get lucky. And a lot of people do get lucky. Okay? But you got to follow the plan. And you have to do each unit. And you have to do the competencies. And you have to listen to the feedback. And I will give you the answers if you get above a 60. If you get below a 60, I ain't giving you squat. I'm going to make you do it over again because I just don't think you comprehended it. And again, it's not for me being a butt munch. It's because I really want you to learn it. Code is not complicated. It's just extremely repetitious, right? So, that kind of process to go through. Let me catch up for a couple questions real quick here. Robbie, troubleshooting again. I'll show you that, Robbie, if I got time. I'll show you kind of what it looks like in the residential or commercial one. What's up, Carlos? Thanks for coming. Oscar, thanks for coming. Let's see here. Nick, hey, brother, I have an offshoot question. Why is it 3VA times square feet? Where do I get that equation at? So in the 2020 edition, you're going to get that at 220.14. In the 2017 edition, you're going to get that in 220.12. And that's going to be in the table 220.12 for dwelling units under the 2017 code. It's been totally removed out of 220.12 for the 2020 code. It is over in the 2020 in 220.14 now. Okay, so again, just moved around a little bit. Still 3VA, but instead of having to look at the table, because that table 220.12 for the 2020 code is. Hey, Christopher, I didn't skip you. I'm just constantly, yelling out names. So I see you in there. You didn't give me time. You didn't give me time. I was going to get you. So, so at the end of the day, there's just been a little bit of change, but it's still 3 VA per square foot. And now as far as why is it 3 VA per square foot? Because that's what was submitted many years ago, and it's what we do. I'm not a historian on code, to be honest with you. People think that I am, and I am not. Being honest with you, there's people that collect code books back 100 years. That's not me. I'm all about today. I don't live in the past. That's not negative. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean that negatively. I just mean that I am so focused on teaching what's current that I don't really worry too much about that. Now, if I have to go research something, then I'll go to the online and I'll look at it, because now all the code books are available online. I don't know if you knew that, but all the code books are available online for free. You can go look at them. You don't have to, I don't want them. I just go look at them. And so you can actually go look at code books going all the way back into the 60s. And that's far enough back for me. But if I need to look at something about a code change, then I just go back and look at the ROPs and ROCs, the old stuff, and now they're just a little bit different these days. So, but you can go back and look up all the history if you want, that type of thing. Okay? So, yeah, this 3 VA per square foot has nothing to do with vectoring. So it's just 3 VA per square foot. Vectoring is square root of 3. That's 1.732. That is totally different deal, but I might have missed the discussion, so sorry about that. I do get a lot of questions that people say to me, will this guarantee I pass the exam? No. I guarantee you can pass the exam if you go through all the course material and you maintain upper 80s to lower 90s and you do all of the exams at the end. Then if you can't pass the exam at that point, then you know what? I recommend you becoming a plumber. I'm just saying it, okay? Because there's just way too many questions, way too much pushing you through the code book that you cannot just absorb it. And you have to be really focused on it. So, again, there's just so much material here in the videos to watch that if you put that time together, it's hard not to be successful. It really isn't, right? Let's see. What else do we got here? Does this 6 foot, 12 foot duplex receptacle rule apply to kitchens? So it does around the walls, but not on the countertop. The countertop rules are different. So 210.52a is going to be your normal 6, 12 foot type of rules. And then you're going to go into the countertop rules in 210.52c, and that's different, right? You can look at the NFPAs on nfpa.org, nfpa.org, and you got to sign up for a free account. Once you get a free account, then you just go to the Codes and Standards tab, and you ought to be able to request a free view, and you can look at anything from the online. All of them are available. Even the 2020 is available for free view. They don't like me saying that, but again, they're up there, so I don't know why they have a problem with that. Let's see here. Oscar, you need to pass the exam, and this program looks like the one to shoot me to the top. Again, it's successful if you go. I mean, ask Jay, ask Tim, ask others in here. If you follow the program, and you will be successful, but you have to follow the program. That's the key. That is the key. I had a guy send me funny story. I had a guy who watched my math video the other day and said that I was teaching the math all wrong. And rather than post his long-winded response, I told him he's absolutely wrong. In order to take a fraction and turn it into a decimal, you very much take the top numerator and you divide it by the denominator. And he wanted to get into the semantics of by or into and all that, and I don't get into semantics. I'm teaching electricians. So basically take the top and divide it into the bottom number, and that's going to convert your fraction into a decimal. And those are the type of things that you need to know in an exam. I don't want to get into a debate with a math major because I'm not the greatest mathematician in the world. Y'all all know that. I teach electrical math. I teach Ohm's law. The schooling that I did in engineering, I probably barely made it through that part of it because I think some of that stuff is so hokey and not usable in the real world. It's all plausible theories and crap like that. I like things that are tangible, things that I can see, Ohm's law, Watt's law, things like that, series, parallel calculations, all that stuff that I can grasp, I like, okay? Robbie, NFPA.org, O-R-G. Go there and sign up for a free account. Once you get that free account, you'll see under the Codes and Standards tab, you'll see where you can look at the different NECs and things like that for free. So N is in Nancy, F is in Frank, P is in Paul, A is in Adam, O is in Oscar, R is in Rick, G is in golf. So NFPA.org is where you're going to go. What else? And that allows you to view any of them. Now, of course, the IRCs and the IBCs are all free as well. You just Google it. Just Google free view or a web version or free version of IRC and IBC. So I haven't paid for one of those books in years because I don't do anything with the IRC and IBC, but every now and then I need to go look up something for the building code or something for the residential code. And I use the online versions. It's free. And since my phone has Wi-Fi, I can use it anywhere. So now, do I recommend you purchase an NEC? Well, obviously you have to have one for an exam, and it's always good to have one. You need to have one so that you can really study it, especially for these courses. But, you know, if you're in a pinch, electronic. Now, NFPA doesn't put out a PDF version anymore. So when I want to look up something in a pinch on my phone, then I do exactly as I tell you. Now, the only difference is I don't have to go to the free view because as a member of a code making panel, I've got a subscription, and it's basically the same thing. The only difference is the free view is not going to have highlights and let you know what changed by highlighting stuff and putting little dots and things like that in the margins, whereas the subscription version will. But once mine were to run out, I don't think I'd get another subscription version because I can use the online one for free. That's just me. But I support NFPA, so I definitely will always have code books. Okay? And I'm partial to the softbound edition. They make a spiral and they make a loose leaf. I just, for some reason, my whole career, I've liked these softbound versions. I'm not a big spiral, even though some people like it because it sits flat. But I've just never been a big fan of the spiral. But they all work. Other people ask me if they should get a handbook. Handbooks are great. If you really are struggling with the interpretation of the code, just remember that a handbook is somebody else's interpretation of the code. It is not endorsed by NFPA. It is an author's rendition of something. Even though it comes from NFPA, it's probably a good, they probably got together and made a good, a good recommendation, and that's good. But any books are just commentaries or just opinions of somebody. You need to make your own mind up. Now, they might help you. It might give you a better understanding of something. And if you're doing it for your office, a handbook is always a good way to go because it's got the code in there and it's got some explanation in there. So again, if you struggle with the code and interpretation, there you go. Or you can be like other people. They just send me an email and ask me to answer their question. And I don't mind doing it. It is a bit overwhelming in the last couple months. It has been quite overwhelming because I have so many ways to reach me now, from the app on the phone to YouTube to Facebook to emails to text message. And so, it's a lot. And I don't mind it. I really don't. I like answering questions the best I can for you. If it's going to help you stay out of trouble and learn something, and if I can be of help, great. I don't mind at all. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, so I don't have any other questions. that I know of. So let me get back to here. Okay, so you see that there's assessments and there's videos, and there you go. And you have all those units for those that are still, interested in this program. Now that it gets down to the questions down here, I will show you that you have a lot of these, and these are based on the DeWalt platform. Okay, and so you have an awful lot of them. And example, we'll just click on one of them. And so again, they're based on this. And what I want to do is we'll just, rather than look it up, we'll just click anything and answer it. Okay. If you see down here, they have changed it. So they did get my memo. Sweet. I'm excited, guys. I was giving them a bunch of grief about this. And maybe I do have more swag than I thought with these people, because I gave them a bunch of grief about this. And guess what? They have changed them all now. That is awesome. That's exciting news. They're the latest version of the DeWalt guides that they're out. Well, you can get these by yourself, but you don't get the instant grading and you don't get the feedback. These are all electronic, and they are the latest ones, and they are now based on the 2020 code. Whoop, whoop. That's good. I was a little bit perturbed that they were not, but it looks like they all are now, so that is awesome. I'm excited because, again, they're probably the same kind of questions, but I am sure there's some that are going to be mixed with the 2020. And if you're studying, I want to make sure that you go to the right references. So if references changed, then now you're in the same. So I'm excited. So all of you 2020 folks, boom, there you go. Oh, yeah, Joe says, yeah, in the real world, there's an app for anything, math included. Absolutely. In the real world, man, we don't even need to use our brains anymore because we've got an app for everything in here now. For example, I don't even think I paid for it. I think it got updated on its own. I don't remember buying it. I used to have a 2017 Uglies book. Then all of a sudden, it says that I had the 2020 version of the Ugly book. And I was like, I don't even remember subscribing to the 2020 version, but hey, I'm not complaining. And there is so many calculators in here as well. So I'm in. And Charles Miller is the author of this. And so there's just some good calcs, good topics, good formula. So if I had to recommend something for somebody that's studying, there's great calculators for doing the voltage drops and all this kind of stuff. So, the Uglies app for your phone is awesome. But there's so many other apps that I also recommend as well. But the Ugly it looks like the 2020 is on fire. Well worth the investment. And I say that not remembering if I actually paid for it, but I think I paid for the 2017 edition, so maybe I got an update automatically. I don't know. Who knows? But it's worth every dime. If it can help you find things in a pinch, then it's great to have it. Okay? So what else can I tell you folks about this? So, you also have your final exams. And these final exams, for example, I'll show you what they look like for those that haven't seen them. And now look, an assessment already in progress. See, it says I'm in the middle of another one. So watch it. Let's see if it redirects me. I wonder if it'll let me answer this one. I must have already done this one while I was in the middle of doing it on another review. Let's see what it says for this one. Yeah, look at that. It knows that I'm in the middle of another review, another exam. That is awesome. It'll still let you do it, but it lets me know that I'm in the middle of another one. That means that I have one of them that is open that I have not completed. That's awesome. All right, so I can complete that one or move on to keep on going. Anyway, so there's a lot of changes in here that we're just noticing that they've made some. Now, Introduction, you've got all the introduction, the reviews, assessments, even videos, and you'll notice that drill work is new for the 2020 folks. Okay? That's all new for the 2020 folks. Other than that, you still got your glossaries. Great to look up questions like grounded. That's the definition. You can look for P, for example, patient care space. Okay, panel board, percentage, all this information's here if you want to spend some time going through it. Now, the other neat feature here that some people have talked about is the flashcards. Now, you can make your own flashcards or you can do them per unit. So let's say I were to go to unit 4. I can say wiring method allowed in ducts used to transport dust. You click it, none. Okay, 300.22 or 300.21, 300.22B or A, one of the two. Anyway, there's your flip card. If I wanted to update this flip card, I could update it. If I wanted to create a brand new flip card for definitions or whatever I wanted, I could do it right here and make as many flip cards as I want and add them in here. Let's see here, next card. Identification of the grounded conductor. So you start your flip cards, white or gray. Is that gray spelled right? Okay. Anyway, and you just go through them. Minimum distance from the edge of a stud to inch and a quarter. But you can do these, and there's an inch and a quarter right there. Next one, maximum distance between supports for non-metallic sheath cable, 4.5 feet. But you can click on it, and it'll show you the answer. And I could even update these if I wanted to. And let's say I wanted to create a new one, and I want to actually put the code references down. In this case, 334.30, for example. So, and I can go in here and do all kinds of things and create my own flashcards. So I recommend you create your own electronic flashcards for all of the articles so that you can look at it. Article 210, branch circuits, 215, feeders, 430, motors, 230, services. Just kind of work through it. 440, HVAC. Okay? 680, swimming pools, hot tubs, spas, blah, blah, the whole 9 yards. 682, natural bodies of water. Just simply create your flashcards for every article. Then do one for every important table. Okay? And it's really how much you put into it on how successful you can be. Okay, the sky's really the limit. Okay, and sorry, Robbie, no, we actually don't have anything set up for military discounts or any. We've already discounted them about as low as we can get them. So we have to pay what's called the LMS fees on them. So that's about now. Every now and then we run coupons. I don't know that we have any coupons running right now, but you have to keep an eye out for it. But no, we actually don't have any program for military discounts as of right now. But you know what? I'm gonna send an email over to Brittany for maybe do something for the 4th of July. Well, we already have a coupon for that, Robbie. For we have a $150 off coupon that is available for the bundle. So that's probably why you're not seeing any additional discounts, because that's a whole $150 we dropped off of the regular price of the bundle. So that's available as well. So that coupon is in our Facebook page. You'll see it's in there. That's what Jay took advantage of, the bundle and everything. And the difference is it gives him 24 months of access to all the programs rather than 12 months. So that's what he had there. But I doubt, Brittany handles that. I doubt she'll put any additional discount on a bundle since it's at $150. We tend to not do discounts, stacking discounts. If you have a bundle out or you have a discount out, it tends to not do a discount on a discount type of thing. There'll be a time when the bundle 150 off goes away. And then it'll be just whatever discount she offers. And it might be 150 again. It might be 10% or whatever. But right now, the biggest thing is to launch that bundle. She did $150 off coupon for that. So it's right off the top of the program. So if you were to add up the costs of the program, it is quite a bit savings when it comes to the each actual program. Let's see. I don't what is it? I think the NFP has something to do with it. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry. The coupon is over on our Facebook. Are you in our exam prep Facebook page? It's the Master the NEC exam prep. It's usually posted in there. But you can go to any of our Facebook pages and it's probably posted. You also can go watch our video on our bundle, and I think we even mentioned the coupon in the bundle. And to be honest with you, I don't remember. Let me see real quick. Bear with me. Let's see here, Robbie. Oh, that's my live stream right now. Hold on here. Hey, look, y'all. Look at Jay. This Jay sporting his shirt he got from Electrician Pride. Check it out. Electrical Wizardry. Jay. Sporting the shirt. Hold on. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked. There's the bundle. So it's the code, checkout code is 2020 bundle at checkout. And that gives you an instant $150 off. So it's not $8.99. It's $8.99 minus $150. Right? And the other difference is that it gives you access for 24 months. And it gives you not only these titles, but any of the Cengage titles. These are just ones based on our courses, but you can get other ones that aren't based on our courses if you want them. But you get access to all of these in that. So anyway, but that's our Master the NEC where if people ask questions on. And then, of course, we have the exam prep forum. And there's Jay again. And there's the bundle again. So the big difference here was we're giving all the titles. You get access to all of them for 24 months. And you get any new ones that we come out with. Then any new ones that we come out with, we will give whoever's in the bundle, I'll send out a notice and they get it for free. Like we're getting ready to let you have access to all of the electricity basics theory as part of the bundle. But anybody that's in the bundle, you just have to wait for that email to come and it'll let you know that that's a new title that you have access to. So we're going to give you access to it. So anyway, we're constantly adding things to that. So anyway, that was that. And let me see if I can go back to where I was. Okay. So that's the program. So I don't guess anybody has any questions on this program right now. The current students that are in this program is at 92%. So they're doing very well. I'm very pleased. But if we switch back to our 2017 program, which we have a lot of students in, you see that they're averaging 91. So they're doing pretty good as well in our 2017 program. So a lot of our guys in here are from the 2017 program, and they did really, really well. So, Brian, did you get your stuff as well? You got to send me some T-shirts. Got to send me T-shirts. Jay had me a T-shirt. You gotta send me, Jay, that lime green one, man. That is the bomb. That is actually my favorite. Is the 2020 bundle, but it's not spaced like that, Robbie. It's all one word. It's 2020 and then BUNDLE all together. No space between the 20 and the bundle. Cool. We got some more stuff that's going to be coming to the store. We I hadn't had time to get stuff loaded up there. We're also trying to make sure we can get some of the shirt prices, because it's all through Teespring. So some of their prices for their shirts are pretty high. So we're trying to get them lowered, if you will. But again, it's not us. So that's the problem when you're selling, shirts and things and mugs and all that as one-offs. It always costs more when it's a one-off than if you were to buy them in bulk. And just is what it is. If y'all have any thoughts of what you want to see on a shirt or in a design, email me. Let me know. I'll try to create something. How outrageous you want it to be. Then let me know. Any other questions? Oh, she loves the God Family Code one. That's awesome, Brian. I want pictures, man. Send me pictures. They're designed to be what's called pre-wash. That's how they described it to me. So the graphics looks like it's pre-wash, and their explanation is it's supposed to last longer that way. We'll see, but because it's pre-washed type of printing or something, I don't know. I'm not in that printing world, so I don't know what they mean by it. But at any rate, I've got a bunch of them. I've got I don't believe it or not, I don't have the God Family Code one. I've got the Mafia. I've got the Wizard. Of course, y'all know I've got the podcast ones that I wear all the time, and then I got my shirts. So all that type of thing. But yeah, definitely shoot me some pictures and send me some pictures. I love to throw them out there. But if y'all have any ideas on stuff that you want, I actually had a neat idea. And again, I had a neat idea for a political one with a Biden and a Trump in the circle. And then it was basically a light bulb with Trump hair on it. And the Biden one with the face covering hanging off one ear. Something, but I just didn't have time to create it. That type of thing. But kind of like facing each other, like they're getting ready to face off. But everybody says, Paul, don't get all political, so I won't. Anyway. So, any rate, if anybody has any other questions on the Fast Tracks program, I know there were some people that wanted to learn about the program tonight, and hopefully they got what you want. The program is, again, a lot of reading, but you can play it and listen. There's a lot of exercises, a lot of competency reviews, and now we've added even more in the 2020 version. Now, the question people say, do I need the 2020 or the 2017? Well, if your state is still testing on the 17, then just go with the 17. The goal is to get your license. Either one you go with, it's going to teach you to learn the code better so that you have less stress when you're taking an exam, right? And just allows you to be able to focus on what's important, and that is passing the exam. Now, if you already have your license, people ask, how many people are in the program that already have their license, right? Hey, Oscar, I didn't see you over there on the Facebook stream. How you doing? Thanks for coming. I see you over there, James. I get people all the time that are in the program just because they want to learn the code better. Maybe they're the owner of their company, or their foreman, or they're the lead guy, or something like that, and they just want to learn the code. So I would say the Fast Tracks isn't just for exam prep, that type of thing. And I can tell you, and Jay, Brian, and all of them will tell you, Elwood, any of them will tell you, Tim, that the competency reviews get harder as you move further up. So, unit 7, 6, 7, a little bit, then you start getting to 8, okay? And so, again, that type of thing. Now, the interesting thing is, we seem to have a surge of people joining the CMECP program as of late. So I don't know if that was featured somewhere or somebody started talking about it, because I've been very low key about it. In fact, I have all these you can't see them, on trademarks that are on the wall from our Fast Tracks program. From our CMECP program. But I've been very low key about it because it's just been, it's just, I don't know. People are hearing about it and they want to do it, and they want to be stressed out at making it through all of the units, getting grades that have to be 80% or greater, and that type of thing. So I guess that's it's something that you add to your name. It's something that you add to your bucket list of doing. Robbie, CMECP is just a Certified Master Electrical Co-Professional program. You have to be a master electrician to be in that program, and it is an intensive course. And in fact, it even got harder. Every time it got harder. One of our students that used to come here was in the first program 2 years ago, and that wasn't that hard of a program. It was hard, but it wasn't that hard of a program, and you had a year to do it. Then all of a sudden, for the 2019 edition, we changed it, and then you had 6 months. In the 2020 edition, we changed it again. We added approximately 16 more exams to the program, made it much tougher. So if you were lucky enough to get in on the 2019, and I think Joe is, you're still going to learn the same, but you just don't have the same amount of material to do in the 6 month period. The people that are getting into that 2020 edition now, woo, it's a tough. You have to really have, and the 17 version is tough too. You really have to have time management. If you don't have time management, you'll never finish. You'll never. Oscar's on both streams. He's on the Facebook and the stream on YouTube. He's double streaming. So CMECP is just programming. You want to learn about what that is, just go to mycmecp.com. It's mycmecp.com, and it'll explain the whole program to you. But it's a tough program. I ain't gonna lie. Very small percentage of people make it through that program, and I let you know that up front. So I've yet to have anybody upset about it when they haven't made it through, because we make it very clear over and over again up front that not everybody's going to make it through that program. That's why the program's not overly expensive. It's not, because it's all about what you gain out of it. And so we're not out to make money on the CMECP program. We're out to take people's knowledge to the next level. And basically, the CMECP program is based on the same foundation as the Fast Trax program. The only difference is the grading scale is different and the time is different. But I will give you a little secret. If you can prepare for your exam in 90 days, then you could complete the CMECP program in 90 days. Okay? It's just we don't encourage you to do that on the CMECP program, because you only get a couple shots at the exams, and if you fail them or your average comes back below 80, then you're out of the program. You're done. So you're better off to take your time and be diligent before you click the submit button. Because if you click the submit button and you get a really low grade, it's going to affect you as you move forward in the program. So you want to take your time. And then the other difference is the CMECP program, you also have to do what's called a 100-question proctored exam when you're done the program, and you have to pass a 5-on-1 review board. Okay? So the 5-on-1 review board is where you're going to have to be asked live on camera a code question from a board member, and it's not me, it's board member, and you have to answer the question to their satisfaction. Not my satisfaction, their satisfaction. And you have to appease 3 of the 5 in order to make it past that last step. Okay? Let's say it says WWE says, Paul, tell me when you going to give us I'm not even sure what that is, WWE, a lesson. The stuff that I do if I'm assuming lesson, the stuff during the week is not scheduled, WWE. I don't do exam prep lessons every week. Sometimes I do these because, again, I don't want to be that committed to it. But I will say this, and I don't know if I wanted to announce this or not, but all the people that are in our Fast Tracks program, they're going to start getting once a week an exclusive exam prep live stream. It's only going to be available to them. So it's exclusive to them, and that will be a lesson or some kind of training in the Fast Tracks program, some portion of it weekly, starting in mid-July. But these that I do every week, the ones that I do for this type of thing, then I just do them at random. So I really never know when I'm going to do a lesson. I just kind of let you know the day before, 2 days before, that type of thing. So it's really random. Also, when it comes to the exclusive ones that I'm going to do for the Fast Tracks folks, if you're not a Fast Tracks member and you want to get in on those weekly ones that are exclusive, then you have to join the YouTube membership, and it's the second tier. And I think it's a $9.99 a monthly commitment, and then you'll get access to those private live streams. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop the stuff that I do like this. It just means that those are specific, okay? Specific for those members, okay? Do I have any training for electrician helpers? Absolutely. I think my residential is perfect for that, or commercial is perfect for helpers. It should be what they learn in apprenticeship school, to be honest with you. And it starts out at the very beginning and walks them through, right? And then also for the apprentice, or electricians helpers, they need to understand AC/DC theory. So we have the Electricity 101 course that I recommend for all apprentices. It's teaching them all the basic fundamentals that they need to know in order to build on. So yeah, we have courses that I would say now. As far as you say one specifically for a helper, nobody's going to create a course like that, because electricity is electricity. Installations are installations. The helpers need to learn the same thing that you're doing. So the bundle program, they can get the residential and the commercial, or they can get them individually. It doesn't matter. You're just going to spend more money doing it individually. Those will walk them through the concepts of residential. Those will walk them through the concepts of commercial, that type of thing. So I would say the residential and commercial both could be utilized by helpers. And here's the thing. Helpers need people on the job that actually help train them. So you have what's called lessons. So there's a bunch of lessons in the residential program, and there's a bunch of lessons in the commercial program that they can do with their journeyman or with their master to help them learn as well. So they might not be geared towards helpers, but they can be utilized by helpers. But we also, like I said, we have the AC/DC, or the Basic Electricity 101 course, which is going to be talking about magnetism. It's going to be talking about Ohm's law, series, parallel circuits, sizing conductors, ampacity, all the basic core stuff. That's in the Electricity 101 course. So that might be something that helpers would utilize. There you go, Robbie. So you're going to go to the Army. You're going to do all your studying, and then when you come back, you'll take the test. There you go. There you go, Robbie. Definitely. Well, make sure you keep track of all of our podcasts and stuff, because I sometimes do business talks, contractor talks, things for contractors to be aware of, bidding, labor units. I'm actually working on a podcast now that has to do with understanding labor units, and every owner has to understand labor units. That's how we base our prices on labor units, whether we know it or not. Everything's based on some type of labor unit. So we're going to be talking about that in future episodes. It is a struggle to sometimes come up with topics that I haven't talked about since I've probably been doing this since 2004. But I try my best to come up with different topics. Oh, you watched the one on Siemens? Absolutely. Yep. That was a great one. Great guest to have on for that one. That was, I don't know if that was Saturday before last, I think. Yep, that's a great episode. For those that didn't get to watch that, go watch that Siemens episode. Their plug-on neutrals, their new load centers, and SPDs and things like that. So, and for all those that are members of our YouTube channel, I promise you I will be back into the 2020 analysis. So don't worry, that's going to start back. I wanted to give you a little taste of Article 680 since we put a lot of work into that. Me and Vince put quite a few hours. There's over 10 and a half hours of content for you to view on that. And it's eight parts. And you've got the free view that's up on YouTube now. Go watch that. That covers part 1, all the general rules. And then we've got part 2 that's available for our members. And then, of course, next week, part 3 will come out. Then the next week, part 4. Then the next week, part 5. Next week, part 6. The next week, part 7. The next part, you get the deal. And then in between there, we're going to be back to my normal NEC 2020 analysis. So you're going to get plenty of videos coming up in the next few weeks. And I appreciate all those that subscribe to that platform. You know that we got rid of the Patreon. So we're doing everything through our YouTube channel. Join is a little join button. You can join and help support us. So appreciate it. WWE says, Paul, do you require high school diploma if I want to be an electrician helper? I don't require anything. Our programs are just knowledge-based programs. They're not going to utilize anything for any hours or education. They're not going to count for anything. They're all knowledge-based. We haven't submitted anything to any state to try to get any credits for anything. So they're just going to be, because we're not going to try to go through the hoops to be yet anyway. The hoops, we're working on it, but it's just so many hoops to actually become a foundation that can actually give state mandated credit for the pre-licensing credits. So you're going to have to get that in an apprenticeship program or on-the-job training in hours, which you have to get on anyway. But for our programs, doesn't matter whether or not you have a high school diploma or not in our program. In most places, you don't have to have anything to be a electrician helper. You don't have to have any diploma or anything. That's the beautiful thing about the electrical industry is as long as you can get the hours, you could be somebody who might have had not finished high school, but you can go and get your hours in and you can work for a company, start on the ground level and work your way up, get all the hours you need and be able to take an exam. Some states might have a prerequisite for a diploma, but most do not. So it allows you to be able to be your own boss and create your own career. And people are pushing college down your throat sometimes, and you don't need to. In fact, I was heavily in the industry and didn't go to college. It wasn't until I got out of school that I decided to do that because my family couldn't pay for it, and there's no way I'm going to put that burden on them. So when I became self-sufficient and made my own money, and luckily I had a wife and we had other businesses that allowed me the freedom to do my studies, then I went on and did my studies. But not everybody has that luxury to do that. And lucky for me, I did it, but it was, college is not for everybody. I missed a question that I got to go back, Robbie. He says, you said, I don't want a license, but I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable in the code. Eventually want to get my master's license. I only have maybe 4,000 hours from being an electrician at Tesla and Solar City. Yes. So document your hours, definitely make sure that they document your hours as well to show that you put in those amount of hours of training under a master or somebody. Definitely make sure you get to do that. What made me want to be an electrician? I probably told this story before. My brother, when I was back in, I hated school, and I probably would have dropped out of school. I was a loudmouth, troublemaking teen that, I didn't do any bad stuff like the kids do today. Today, it's just crazy. I had trouble with authority. And so when I was in school, and it's hard to believe, right? When I was in school, I was always pushing the teachers, always pushing, talking back, and just I wasn't hurtful to anybody, but I could have done better. It wasn't until I got into ninth grade and I actually witnessed my brother get a set of tools for Christmas, and it literally, he got a pair of electrician's tools, and I watched his reaction, and he was so excited about it that I went to an open house over at the vocational school, and I went to it and I met his instructor. And Mr. Barrett, Bob Barrett, became a really close friend of mine and a mentor, is well known throughout the state. And basically, once I saw that man and heard him talk and how much Todd, my brother, looked up to him, I was sold. So the next year, I straightened up because they ended up telling me that they wouldn't let me go unless I got all my prerequisites and everything. So in my 9th and 10th grade year, I was taking summer school just to clear stuff out of the way. And all my friends would be going off to somewhere in the summers to beach and stuff. Not me. I was taking code classes at night with the apprenticeship program. I just listening to him and my brother and Mr. Barrett. And so anyway, in 11th grade, I enrolled in the program, and it was a 5 days a week, all day long type of program, except for early morning. I'd had to do my English and I had to do my math early because those were prerequisites so that I could be over at the school. And I just excelled at it. I ended up winning a national VICA contest, whereas, you're competing. Now they have stuff, they call it Ideal Tool, whatever. Back then, I ended up competing in those type of things, and everything had to be perfect, and I was so anal about it, and I just fell in love with it. And so it started back in 9th and 10th grade. And so when I got into 12th grade, the school itself asked me if I would be the student teacher for the 11th graders while I was a 12th grader, which was kind of unheard of. But I was like, that mean I get to stay over here all day long, every day? And they said yes. So I stayed over there for my training as a 12th grader and under my mentor, Mr. Barrett. And then I stayed over there and I got to teach the juniors that would come over. And so I've taught them. He let me just basically run that. So the next generation of electricians, I got to teach them all the residential, commercial, pipe bending, troubleshooting, everything. I graded all their work and I loved it. And I was supposed to take over that position because Mr. Barrett wanted to retire. And I got this big award from the school as the number one student in that school's history. I was so excited and so proud. And then they told me what the teachers get paid. And at that point, it's 18 years old, it's about the money, buddy. And I wanted to get out, and my brother said, come to work with him and we'll start our own company. And he was working for somebody else. So I went to work with him and we started AA Electric, and the rest was history. And so I decided not to teach at the school. But that's what got me started. In code panels, I spent so much time in the code. And when I went to work for manufacturers, I ended up working as the head of the engineer for the city of Richmond, then went on to Alexandria, then went to NEMA as their Southern code representative. They're basically their electrical code expert for the South. And then, of course, I got the call from Encore Wire and Mr. Jones, who's the CEO, and ended up making that move out there. And then once you work for a manufacturer, then you can get on code panels. And so that's kind of what spawned me to be on. So it wasn't until 2014 that I started getting on code panels. And that's because I work for a manufacturer. You can't be on a code panel and not be part of some manufacturer, because you have to be a part of some association to be on a code panel of some type. So that's how I did that. But I'm also a member on different committees for NEMA, IEEE, ANSI, UL, and I take part. And anybody can be on those committees if you're in the industry. And I just take part in them. That's all. So you got your first picture of your first tool bag. Yeah. probably would. I don't. Only pictures I have is pictures of me with the trophies and stuff for the VICA contests that my mom still has back in Virginia. Other than that, I still got a letter, and it was so upsetting that when I moved years ago, a bunch of my stuff fell off the vehicle that we were moving. I don't know how it happened, but something happened, and I lost the part of the personal letter that my mentor wrote to me, which was dear to my heart, but it must have fell out or something. But the most important part was the second page, where he makes a statement in his 38 years of instruction and teaching that I was the number one student that he's ever had in his entire career. And that meant the most. So I didn't lose that part. I lost all the other part, but I didn't lose the part that's dear to me, and I still have that to this day. And I have no idea what happened to the other part, but I still have all my certificates and all this kind of other stuff. But again, he was my mentor. He died a couple of years ago, and he never got to see me get to where he wanted me, the authoring of different books and stuff. He died before he got to see all that. But it's cool. Hey, Matthew, I didn't see you in there. Thanks for coming. So, yeah, it's. I like to think I'm 51 years old. Oh, excuse me. I'm 50 years old, for those that ask. I actually turned 51 in 6 days from now. So I'm my big 5'1", and I've packed a lot of time. I've been in the electrical industry, working in it, since all the way back to about 16 years old, when I was working, helping my brother, and got that first taste in 9th grade. And at that point, that's when I had my first taste of it. And so I've been doing it ever since then. And I knew right away in 9th grade, when I went and met the mentor, that I started bugging my brother to help him. And that's when I started really focusing. And then I started taking night classes because I knew what I wanted to do. Now, I shifted about 10 years ago to doing code. Now, I still do electrical. I still run service calls, do a little bit here and there. But that first part of my career, I did residential, commercial, industrial. We did some motor work, bent my share of conduit. And basically, me and my brother got to a point where we had two different visions. And I opened my own company in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And then he stayed in Charlottesville, Virginia. We worked closely together, but we separated. And I did my own thing and got more into troubleshooting and then things like that. And then I started getting more into demand for teaching. And so I had to go that direction and then that type of thing. So, what is it? Mandingo says, do you see modular building getting big here, like it's getting attention in Europe? We have modular buildings here. We do a lot of office building modular style, probably not the small scale modular of volume that we see overseas and in some other countries. I don't know, to be honest with you, Mendigo. What happens is we have the square footage here. What I see, I don't see, I probably see more modular in the sectors of motels and hotels and in pop-up office buildings, things like. I don't know that I see the modular in the residential that much, although we have modular type of building systems now in commercial, and we obviously it covers it in 550 as well. So we have modular type of buildings, and we even have manufactured homes. I think it's 547 or something. Not sure, but anyway, we have so much going on. Let me look and see here. 547 is agricultural building. Manufactured buildings in 545, excuse me. So there's some stuff still going on. I don't know that it'll ever get to the same as what we see in Europe when it comes to something like that. But I don't know. I don't even know what we'll see if things don't change in the way we are doing things today. If not, I'll leave it at that. All right. Anybody got any other questions before we jump off? My viewers are slowly numbers are dropping off, so I guess I'm starting to get boring. But there you go. Let me come back to Maine. The energy code, yes. California title. Was it Title 26 or something like that? Yeah, it's them energy codes. Tell you what, they are intense. Yeah, they're based on the internet International Energy Conservation Code, and they just on the Green Code, and they kind of took California and it kind of melded these things together and created the California Title 26, I believe. So, yeah, it's one of those California. Yes, it is going to be spreading across the country. I am sure of it, but not as quick as we think, because California tends to do kind of some weird stuff anyway. So I think the rest of the country kind of looks at them as weird. Not you as weird, or not Californians as weird, but the way they do some of the laws out there. Yeah, Title 24, there you go. They look at some of those things a little differently. For example, out there, they require that you already built-in PV for homes. I don't think that's ever going to happen everywhere. That is something that California does. I don't see that happening everywhere. Okay, so some things will migrate, and then some things don't. Another good example is in California, they do a lot with what's called daylight shading and things like that, whereas the shades come down automatically when there's a certain number of light and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of control and power together. But you haven't seen that move across the country, and that's been like that for a couple of years. And it's not really moving east. So a lot of the stuff in California, believe it or not, originates in California and dies in California. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it is definitely more intense in when it comes to the energy code there. Theirs is basically the energy code in California. Title 24 is a mixture of the green code and the energy code. Kind of put them in a box and shake it up, and there's your Title 24. You know, things like that. Thanks, Brian. Yep. You know, I tell people why I learned the code. As an electrical contractor, I wanted to learn the code because it is like its own language. And if I know this language, then I can have conversations with other electricians. It's like a secret handshake, okay? It's like the Masonic handshake without it being anything to do with Mason. Although you've heard me refer to the structure of electricians like masonry, right? You know, apprentice, fellow craft, and master, helper, or apprentice, journeyman, and master, right? Very similar. You have to learn the trade, you have to practice the trade, and then you have to master the trade, all of which can take a lifetime to do. So, kind of follows that same lines. All right. So, learning the code has always been something even as an electrical contractor. I was heavy into code back when I was, again, 16, 17, 18. I knew the career I wanted early on. Now, when I went to school to do engineering, I, for a brief time, thought I wanted to do that. And then I realized real quickly that I just need to finish it because I have no desire to design systems anymore or do anything with that. So I just do consulting for engineers. But I did not want to do that. That was just me. I came to that realization. How many people have been through school and you get through it or halfway through it and you realize, nah, I'm not interested. But it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was lucky. I was able to do without having to do any residency for mine. So I lucked out. Not everybody's so lucky today. So I just kind of got lucky. But it's not good enough luck that it means anything because my degrees mean actually squat. Texas won't even accept mine for PE. So That's all right. I spend most of my days correcting PEs anyway, so it's all good. No disrespect. I'm just saying. I don't want to sit in a room and design stuff. I'll critique it. I'll look for code problems, but I don't want to design it. I suck at CAD anyway, so I never could pay attention long enough to learn CAD to worth anything. Yes, I can create drawings and graphics and arts, but CAD, I'm terrible at it. I don't even get it half the time. So, anyway. Hey, dude, if I can learn code, you can learn code. Let me put it that way. That's just a passion of mine. It's a hobby. And I turned it into a career. If you're an electrical guy, there's a certain number of people that say, the code's just, I don't care about that. There's doers. I laugh at those people. That's some of my haters. They say, code isn't always code, Paul. You can't talk code. I didn't say it. All I'm saying is the code is a minimum standard. And you need to at least learn the minimum standard. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying you need to learn the minimum acceptable standard. That's it. Okay? I know how to do series circuits, parallel circuits. I know how to run conduit. I know how to run SE cable. I know how to put nail-up boxes. I know how to lay out a house. I know how to lay out. I know how to follow a set of blueprints to wire a building. I know how to platform switch gear and how to set it up and how to put my groundwork in and put all the raceways underground. I know how to do all that stuff. Do I want to do that stuff now after this many years? No. But there's people out there that are just do that, and that's what they have a passion for, right? And I did that. I ran my electrical contracting businesses for over 20 plus years. I moved on to that, and I still have a contracting business. I did an addition a couple weeks ago. I loved it. Got the hands dirty again. Realized how babyish my hands have gotten. Somebody laugh at me. I think I wasn't 20 minutes into a rough end that I got a blister. I ain't lying. Hey, I've got some supple hams. I got some supple hands. Okay, they don't get this. They don't have the calluses they used to have. They still got the scars on them they used to have, but it's a little softer these days. Okay, but I appreciate all of you out there. I appreciate all the electricians that are out there just working their butt off. I get tickled to death when I get somebody like Jay and Brian and different electricians. Tim, everybody that the pictures that I get, the shirts. Hey, Arturo, thanks for coming in. Got here at the end. I just get a kick out of it because I've been there and done it, and I still like doing it. No, I'm not going to take on a big commercial building with tons of switchgear anymore. No. Now, probably I don't have the manpower. I don't have the people, and I don't want to do that anymore. But I will certainly be a resource for those out there who do have to do it, and they need some assistance. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you succeed. All right. You're exactly right, Brian. It is way more than a license. You know what? I wish more electricians in the country in general would think of it more as a brotherhood. It's kind of funny. You've got the Masons, and they were Masons. Ought to come up with something for electricians. I know. We got the electrical brotherhood, the unions. I get it. We got all that. But I'm just saying in general, all electricians should unite. How about that? All electricians unite. Create something. Oh God, don't get me started. I'll be thinking about doing something like that. Anyway, that's kind of what the electrical certified master electrical code professional was all about. To try to bring together like-minded professionals who want to continue their journey and be able to use that as they, as the to their name or to their advertising or whatever, that type of thing. Okay. So, and what is that? What did you say, Elwood? Eric, it says true union is not taking strong over here. I go back and forth. Yeah, I mean, people ask me about unions all the time, and I was never in a union. But there's a place for everything. The unions can be very strong, and some unions are really good. And some can be very beneficial to learn in. So there's benefits, there's pluses and minuses for each thing. Everybody's, I really don't have any negativeness to a union. Only thing about unions that I don't like is the strike process. I know how they have to stay together and that type of thing. But my only problem with that is if I am on the lower part of that totem pole and I have to feed my family and it goes on strike and I can't cross the line, then I've still got to feed my family. And they're depending on me. You know that? So, and I'm not a big political game guy. I don't like the politics. It's usually the first thing when I worked with the municipalities that drove me crazy is politics. Too much butt kissing, too many people trying to move their way up the ladder, and they'll step on your back in order to get there. And it's just not me. Now, people ask me, how do I get along the way I work now with a big corporation with there's a lot of politics going on? Well, that's because I'm the code guy. I get people out of trouble. I'm the guy that can answer the code questions. So everybody just leaves me alone. You know what I mean? Just leave me alone so that I can do what I do. Okay? But different strokes for different folks. In some parts of the country, the union is very strong and you almost got to be in it. Other parts of the country, it's not. And you don't need to be in it. And they have their plot. Usually I tell people is if you want to go into a union, they have to sell you on why you need to be in the union. And they're not going to lie to you, I don't think. I mean, they're going to tell you why. And you look at it, and if it's good for you, it allows you to get the time in, things that you need in order to step out of that and go to the next level, then do it. Absolutely. When he says, when do you think it's a good time to step out the filed? Qualify that for me, Elwood, a little bit, and I will try to answer that a little bit better. Well, I'm not, when you say step out the field, help me out a little bit so I can know what you're asking. And incidentally, if people ask me, have I ever been in a union? And the answer is no. I have never been in a union. It's not because I didn't, it just wasn't strong in our area where I was at. It wasn't big in Virginia. In central Virginia, unions it wasn't big. Too cool. You got a COVID extension on your exam. Does that mean that you you got some more time to take the test, or you extended it out? What was your extension about? And Elwood, I haven't forgot your question. It says, what's a good time to step out of the field? I'm still struggling with the question. When you step out of the field, you mean go out on your own? Leave the union? Or I'm not 100% sure how to answer your question, Elwood. Because I could read it as step out of the field, retire, and when's a good time? When you can't do it anymore. Okay? Oh, you said when I'm seeing guys older having trouble working. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. Because I do get this question from time to time. Interesting you should ask it. If you work your butt off early enough to establish yourself, if you're in a union or you're in some kind of company and you don't want to be your own boss, but you're working your way up, there will be a point of time where your age will coincide with supervisory roles. In other words, you won't be doing so much hands-on as you'll be taking that knowledge and going to the next level. So older guys tend to move out of the field into the supervisory role. And it's not because they don't have the knowledge to do it. They just don't have the physical ability to keep up with the demands anymore. And so they move into a supervisory role, or they move into a bidding role where they become a bidding and estimator. They move into the office. And then you put your time in, again, you move up in the company to something else, maybe some other higher position. And if you've been doing something for a long time and you're the owner of a business and it's not a union, then what you do is you should be, if you put in enough time, if you're still in the business, unless you're a mom and pop, a 1 and 2 person, and you've done that for 30 years. My brother's that way. That was part of me and his argument. I wanted to grow and he didn't want to. And we had the ability to really grow. And so I had to draw a line in the sand. And that's when I said, we're not going to grow. I'll help you, but I got to have my own company because I want to grow. I wanted to have trucks. I didn't want a truck. I wanted trucks, plural. So, that there was a difference. Okay. So that's how I made that transition. So if I was getting older, then I'm moving into a management role and I'm going to hire people. So hopefully that's a transition that you get to. But yeah, there should always be a transition for you. Now, if you learn the code, like Brian's saying, if you start learning it very young and you get proficient so that when each news cycle comes out, you only have to learn changes, then what happens is that you put yourself in a position of where you're not only you're a doer, but you're also a thinker. And that becomes very valuable for a company, okay? Because you could save them money. And again, those type of things. So again, also I tell people all the time that are young, you're in your 20s and your 30s and early 40s. If you're a great electrician, become a great code guy. Because if you start doing electrical work and you start knowing the code and everybody around you knows you know the code, you go from being a really good electrician to an amazing electrician. And you didn't do anything different. You still wired that receptacle the exact same way you did before. It's just you built that knowledge and your credibility to everybody around you. And so, again, that's kind of like the CMECP takes it to the next level. People say, what is it accredited? It's not accredited, but neither is any of the other ones you get for associations, okay? This is something that is actually a certification mark that comes from a corporation, a registered corporation in Texas. And so we validate your achievement and you're able to use the acronym. But again, it's something that sets you above the rest. How you use it is up to you, whether it's in your marketing or whether it's in your literature, whether it's on the side of your vehicle, whether you're using it in a resume. All those type of things is how you use it. And that's the key. Everybody's so focused on how everybody else will use something. And I tell people, focus on how it's much easier in society if we would all worry about ourselves than not worry about everybody else. We're so consumed with everybody else, somebody running around telling whether somebody's wearing a COVID mask or saying whether somebody is over there is stealing cable, or I leave that to the law. For me, we're so focused on everybody else and what everybody else is doing than we are on what we're doing. And so the only thing that you can truly control is what you do. So if you really focus on it, you can really take your career to the next level, because I guarantee you in the company you work for today, you could probably look around to all the folks and realize which ones are just happy with the status quo and which ones are really eager to go to the next level, to gather all the knowledge that they can. This is why I tell people all the time why I listen to other people, whether I agree with them or not. I listen to them. Now, why I do that is because there's always going to be some information that I can steal from them that I don't know. I don't know everything. And the day that I think I know everything, I've failed myself because I have to keep learning. There are educators out there that think they know it all. Whatever, You always are learning something new. I learn something new every day. And I try to. I actively go try to learn new stuff. I don't sit back. I'm constantly reading articles, constantly reading reports, constantly watching videos on certain topics that I'm interested in, to constantly learn. Right now, I'm on this big kick, okay? Big kick right now when it comes to leadership stuff and focusing on why we have good leaders and bad leaders and mediocre leaders and leaders who get all the praise and they do none of the work, but leaders that work their butt off and get zero praise and don't get the accolades, but they are a really effective leader and they're just getting ignored for whatever reason. And I'm really focusing on that right now and trying to study why people are successful and some people aren't successful, what makes a better leader, things like that. So that's kind of something I'm into right now in my free time. So when I've got any. What did you say? North Carolina eligibility window was extended. I can test at a later date. I get additional study time. I plan to use that extra time wisely. Absolutely. Use that time wisely. Some people will sit on that and say, oh, I just got some extra time. Use it wisely. Practice. Remember, study with a plan. Study with a purpose. You've heard me say that over and over and over and over and over again, right? All right. I know I'm boring everybody now. It's been over 2 hours. I want to thank y'all. For those that are interested in the fast tracks, just let me know. And we will get something out to you. Usually takes a day or two to get the keys to you. The bundle, same concept. Usually takes it because there's quite a few keys to issue for that one. So, or at least course plans for that one. So it takes a couple days if you're interested in the bundle. So anyway, I got nothing else. I will not reshare this. So again, there is no lesson here tonight. So it won't be available for view later. So what I have decided to do is anytime I do a lesson on exam preps during the week, a real lesson, I am going to keep it, but it's only going to be available to those that are in the membership on YouTube. Okay? Sorry. That encourages you to listen live. Okay? So anyway, that's it, guys. That's it for tonight. Hopefully those that wanted some information on the Fast Tracks program got it. And before I go, is there any last questions you might have? And other than that, then I will just call it a night and spend some time with my wonderful wife, who very rarely sees me anymore. But I am in this studio or in this office a lot, editing videos and creating stuff for other private things that I have going on. Whether it's graphics or something that I'm creating that are private for somebody or for some other company that I can't use because they pay me to create them, that type of thing. So, and of course I got my day job, so got to do that too. So, all right, folks. Well, y'all all take care. Till next time. Oh, I should probably do my commercial. Y'all ready? Today's show is sponsored by electricianpride.com. Your one-stop shop for electrician-specific t-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, mugs, die-cut stickers, leggings, and so much more. Featuring unique designs for electricians, journeymen, and master electricians, as well as electrical engineers and electrical inspectors. For more information on all the products that are available, visit us at www.electricianpride.com today. How y'all like that? Yeah. That's my ad for tonight. All right. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Appreciate you all. Okay? The Ohm's Law shirts and stickers ready. They are available up on Electrician Pride, but the free ones are not ready. They're different. The ones that are on Electrician Pride are the big ones like this. The big stickers. And the shirts are already up there available for that. In fact, I've got a couple of those. But the free giveaway stickers aren't available yet. They're made differently. These that are up there on the website, up on Electrician Pride, are much higher quality stickers than the ones that I give away. Okay. But they're up there available for that, and the mugs and all that. I got my mug and everything like that. Brian, Code Strong. Yes, I have a design coming for this Code Strong, and it is going to be, and that is going to be part of the giveaway ones. But there is a shirt that I'm working on that is going to be available up on the store for the Code Strong. But I just got to get time to finish the graphic that I'm working on. But that'll be something up there as well for that. And of course, that'll be totally something different that I'm working on sticker-wise for you guys that went through the program and succeeded through the program. That's so. Okay. You were on the website. Oh, were you on my Electrician Pride? Cool. Yep. All right. Oh, you were on the site and you came here? Cool. All right. Anyway, thank all of you for joining me. Next week, we will have an exam prep class. I haven't decided the topic yet, but we will have something for next week. So keep your code books handy. We will have some lessons next week. Don't forget Electrician Live this week, Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I can't remember. Oh, the topic this week, for those that are still here, the topic is phantom voltage. So I'm going to discuss phantom voltage and why you get readings on a digital meter versus an analog meter, and somehow that can freak people's mind out when they're doing testing and troubleshooting and stuff like that. So I'll be talking phantom voltage a little bit. And again, that one's also going to be a call-in show. So I'm going to have the phone number that'll be scrolling across the top of the screen, so that if you want to call in and tell any of your stories about phantom voltage, or where you spent 3 hours troubleshooting a circuit and you were getting like 30 some volts or 40 volts on a 120, you were getting 40 volts and you were freaking out. You're like, what is this? What is going on? Or something like that. We'll talk, that'll be kind of discussions we'll have this Saturday night. So again, I'll probably tell some stories as well, but that's what's coming up this Saturday at 8 p.m. So if you get a chance to join me. That one will be live. Last week's, as you know, was recorded because it was Brittany, who works for us. It was her birthday, and so I pre-recorded something. Although it's kind of funny that I was in the chat with all of you while it was going on, so I might as well have done it, because she was looking at me the whole time going, really? It's my birthday. I'm like, well, I told the guys I'd be live, so I kind of got her upset, but it's okay. Can't please everybody. So again, everybody out there, this week coming up is my wife's birthday too. So all the well wishes out there for my wife. She puts up with me and she allows me to do this stuff. And we've been married for almost 30 years now. And she has put up with me from day one with my craziness. She's been with me during most of my electrical journey in my career. She's seen me everywhere. She's seen me working as a municipality. She's seen me working at NEMA. She's seen me as an electrical contractor. She's seen me pretty much. I married her right out of school. So she's been around for most of my career. So she's put up with me. So again, we have our birthdays are 1 day apart. Hers is on the 28th. Mine is on the 30th of June. And we celebrate on the 29th. How about that? We celebrate the day in between. Okay? That's how we do it. What are the odds it'd be that close? Anyway, appreciate all of you. You have any questions? You have any code issues? You know what to do. Just email me or text me. I think even, Matthew's using the app on the phone or from Facebook. Either he uses Facebook, but it comes through on the app. So I don't know if he's using the app from our website or the Facebook. I'm not sure, but it comes on the phone. You can send me anything you want, any questions. I'll do my best to try to answer them for you. Okay? Appreciate all of you. Till next time, stay safe. God bless. Hey, code strong, baby. Learn that code. Makes life so much easier. No stress. You don't need to stress. Just learn the code. Hey, maybe that's a shirt I need to do. No, less stress. Learn code. Hey, sounds like a winner. Y'all take care. Wrong button.
You've been listening to Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy.